This is Wyatt from Liquor Planet, and you're listening to the Left Coast Leafs podcast. All right, guys, I thought this was beer-orientated. The Leafs fucking suck.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 80 of the Left Coast Leafs podcast. I'm Sean Orge with my good buddy Trevor Bask. It's
I remember the 80s.
New decade podcast.
It is. I think it's our first pod of the new year, the new decade. Lots of news.
How did you spend your New Year's Eve?
We had people over. I worked the next morning, so I didn't make it till midnight. I went to bed early. But that's kind of my move when I work the next day at 7. Yeah. What about you? You were up north.
Up north, shooting off fireworks on a frozen pond.
Really?
Yeah. I posted a picture on Instagram.
Okay, yeah. Were you skating on it?
No, it was too warm, so like it was kind of slushy.
Okay.
Did lots of snowshoeing though.
So how north?
Fucking north.
Really?
Like legit northern Ontario.
Like fly in?
Fly in, drive back. It was 2 hours northeast of Timmins. Sorry, northwest.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
That's pretty north.
It was.
I'll have to look at a map just to, so I'm not talking out of my ass here, but
before
I'm just taking your word for it.
Before I went,
pretending I know.
My grandpa brought his 2013 road atlas so I could show it to him where I was going.
Oh, really?
That was funny.
Did you like shoot off, like rifles?
There were guns. There was no shooting of guns though.
Not from your party?
No.
No. Okay, that's a tradition.
Yeah.
We used to have a tradition out in Sanderson with some family tradition where they would just go out and shoot guns in the air.
That's not Saskatchewan.
No, it's like in Victoria. Haven't done that for about a decade now, though. But episode 80. Guess who wore number 80?
No idea.
Nick Antropoff.
Ah.
Yeah, I really liked Nick Antropoff.
So did I.
He was a good player.
He was kind of like the him and was it Ponikarovsky?
Yeah, Ponikarovsky.
Were the kind of like the post Sundin, kind of like the could this be the guy, but never really panned out.
Never did.
Yeah.
But they were all they played the wing with Sundin a little bit, or Antropoff did, and they never really did find that other good winger for Sundin, but that's an entire podcast in itself one day. But here's the thing, like I looked at his tenure with the Leafs, and he wore 80 from 03 to 09, but he was with the Leafs from like 99 to 09. So like, okay, well, what other number did he wear? Did a little research for a change.
Very good.
And he started with number 11, gave it to Owen Nolan when Owen Nolan arrived.
That was the Brad Boys, Alan McCauley. And
I liked Alan McCauley.
Yeah.
I really liked him.
That trade would never happen nowadays.
Why not? Just because of salary difference?
A good up-and-coming young player, a top prospect, and a first-round draft pick for a guy on a fucking contract that's in his 30s and it's his last year on it.
That is true.
I guess it still kind of happens, but not like a player, like maybe.
No.
Could be wrong.
So anyway, shout out to Nick Antropoff. Wonder what he's doing now. Oh, he's
got a son his son's very good hockey player.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Russian World Junior guy or U17 or
I think his son actually is Canadian.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
But I'm sure it's dual.
Yeah.
Or wasn't he from Kazakhstan?
You're right.
Yes.
Yes. So he could easily make that team. Those bunch of party animals. So I went to Liquor Planet today, got a beer.
Very nice.
And then you come over and you shoot me some news that you're on a program.
Yeah, I agreed to do this thing called Whole 30.
Whole 30?
And no alcohol allowed.
Oh, I thought it was a 12-step program.
No, it's not a 12-step program.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Not yet anyways.
I will be drinking again.
Oh, that's good. Well, even people on 12-step programs end up drinking again, so there's no shame in that. So anyway, we got the 2 tall cans from Liquor Planet. It's our first beer of the decade, the year, and later in the show, we will be announcing our beers of the year for 2019.
Yes.
Wonder if we picked the same one.
Probably not.
Wouldn't surprise me, maybe though.
Really?
I think mine is kind of up your alley.
Did you go IPA?
Yes.
I did not go IPA.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so today's beer is, which I will be sharing with producer Reg today, instead of you, is the Deep Cove Double Dry Hopped Kveik Pale, Kveik.
I would probably like that beer.
You probably would. It's a it's got a fucking caveman on the cover. That's pretty cool.
My mouth is watering.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but like I said, sometimes
You have to read it now
life
because I'm not
goes on.
drinking it.
You're not gonna bail me out here? Get down here, you light. Just like Thor, the god of thunder, this beer packs an almighty punch using Norwegian Kvik yeast. The style has stood up the test of time. Amarillo and Mandarin Bavaria. Holy shit, this is a wordy thing. And it curves around the bottle, so I'm like turning it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Hops give bright mandarin orange and citrus flavor. It's time to raise your hammer and cheers to the gods. That was a sketchy read.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. It looks delicious.
It's gonna pour so nice with an orange tinge.
This is willpower at its best right
Man,
here.
this is where you know you never leave here without drinking. This is a bad situation. You can smell it. You can rate it on smell. Ooh, it's clear. That's an aggressive pour. I got to slow down here. It's a foamy beer.
So with it, I'm just going to stop talking about beer now.
Yeah.
So with it being the change into the new year, it's almost like as if what we thought was going to happen in 2019 is now happening in 2020 with the Bruins, Tampa, and Leafs top three in the Atlantic Division and somewhat running away with it. But Florida may have a few things. They may pull themselves back into this picture, but Toronto ripped off a nice little the 15-4-1 under Keefe to start.
Yeah.
But Tampa's won 10 straight now. Boston's been a wagon the entire time.
Was there ever a time when you doubted whether Tampa was going to get it together?
No, because the entire time they had 5 games in hand. So you just knew
But it looked like those 5 games could all be losses at one point too.
Yeah.
You know, the way they were playing.
But they had the toughest schedule at the start.
Their
schedule,
like the Leafs too, right?
Yeah, fair. And Tampa and Toronto were down with Montreal is taking an absolute nosedive. They're
that was never sustainable. They just don't have enough high-end players on that team to
the team that does scare me though with the East is Florida. If Florida can make come into the picture, it's gonna make us work. Right now it doesn't feel like home ice in the playoffs is going to be a thing. It feels like the playoffs will be a thing, but it just doesn't feel like home ice is going to be there.
No. I think it's going to be I think we're going to be third at best, possibly wild card if Bobrovsky starts playing well. So that whole thing where the old theory that St. Louis kind of put on its ear last year where your American Thanksgiving benchmark, that is not true for the Atlantic Division for sure this year.
It's pointless when the fucking game discrepancy is so high.
Yeah.
How does one team at even halfway through the year play 5 less games? It's crazy.
It is. And then I guess it all ends up resetting in the bye week. I think that bye week they just do it, and then once everyone's had their 5-day bye, it all seems to be equal.
Yeah,
and I think that load is because of the bye week that it gets so uneven early.
I think
in the
it's
year.
Because they started over in Europe to start. Because remember they were over in Sweden.
That's right,
Chicago.
John, this beer's shit.
It looks delicious.
I know. I'm trying to make you feel good, but so who I think. It's even looking like the Atlantic won't provide any wild cards unless Florida.
Unless we don't make the playoffs.
And that's true. What do you think? What do you think's the personality of this team? Do you you think they can keep playing well enough to stay in one of the top 3 spots, or was that a new coach bump that we just witnessed, and we're more of a 500 team? Like
we've seen this story before. Like November, Freddie comes in, he's fucking unreal. It like carries into December, and then he hits this lull where it carries into January, and it's like, what's going on with Freddie?
Yeah.
And then he hits it again in February, like towards the end of January, February, he regains it.
Yeah.
And then playoffs, it's like, what's going on here? It's happened every year with him. Like he's not playing well. Like the goals that are going past him right now, they're weak goals to his standard.
They are.
And the team say what you want, like from a defense, like the defensive side of things. And I get that we poor, especially though with missing Muzzin. Like not having Muzzin is a huge backbreaker.
I think
now.
they won about the first 3 games without Muzzin, but the last few games you could see they're really starting to miss his stability back there.
Yeah,
because missing him and Mikheyev is kind of starting to compound on them a little bit. Mikheyev shouldn't be that important, but he was really playing well,
especially with Tavares.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if Dubas is looking to make some sort of move here for a D-man. Like are we looking at doing something now?
I think that's 100% mandatory if they feel like they want to contend this year. Like if they don't make a move for a D, that tells me that they aren't willing to give up the assets that it requires, or B, like the cost was too high, or B, they actually don't feel like this is a deep run season. And I don't think they're thinking that. I think they think they can do a deep run.
Oh yeah, I think they're all in here.
But when you break down that defensive core, like even like let's say Muzzin's there, like that's just there's a lot of guys who are poor defenders on that. Like I don't mean we need a couple lumberjacks back there, but we need some guys that can defend, like CC, Marinson, Barry, like even those 3 guys, having those 3 guys on your blue line, like that's a big defensive deficiency.
CC has gone on some deep playoff runs though too, so he has that experience.
And if he's your third pairing guy, see, he worked as a first pairing guy because peak Erik Karlsson was his partner. So he just had to not fuck it up.
Yeah.
Right? So, but if they can keep him on the third pairing and shelter his minutes, then, he's going to spend the year here.
They're missing something right now.
Yeah.
On the back end. And with Frederick Anderson playing like an average to below average goalie right now, it's bad.
Yeah. And the extent of Riley's injury is unknown.
And I get it too. We did win 10 straight games, and we're playing very well.
Yeah.
And we still are playing well. We're just defensively not there right now. And some of those pucks that if Anderson stops those, it makes it a different game. It makes it you play your players differently. You it's such a Freddie's got to figure his shit out. And
he does.
I wonder if him and Keefe are feuding a little bit. Like he didn't like getting pulled in the one game in Toronto after the first period, and I wonder if he's not as happy with Keefe as he was with Babcock.
I would say too bad, so sad, and he might not be, but this is how Keefe's managing the load management thing. Like,
fair.
if the team's not going to give you a good effort, I'm not going to have you back there, right? And then I can give you rest. I can pull you for rest. Yes, is it embarrassing when a goalie gets pulled? Do they like it? Absolutely not. But I think Freddie's been here long enough to know that this is a big picture situation now. I think he has to know that. And just this style of play too, they're not just dumping the puck out. Like when you're handling the puck through all 200 feet of the ice, and skilled young guys who are trying to make cute plays, short plays, between the leg plays. There's lots of turnovers out there. Like this is a high risk, high reward team right now, and that's even more reason why you need a couple stable guys on the back end who can just break a cycle, cover your turnover. Maybe he's not also jumping up the ice with the other guys on the ice, or a guy that can play a fucking 2-on-1 properly. Like that would be handy.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
because there's a lot of them.
it goes back to the decision of keeping Babcock, and if you would have instilled Keith or Keith in the summer, like where would this team be? Like standings wise, systematic wise,
They would have been able to learn what they in training camp what they're now learning on the fly from Keith.
Yeah,
right?
it's not they have a lot of practice time. Their schedule's been crazy.
No. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, but like I think we're in that weird part of the schedule where like Tampa's going to come back down. Like they're going to lose some games, and it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a good race. Looking forward to the All-Star game coming up here. Got our boy Mitch Marner.
Yeah, Mitch got voted in.
I think Marner could be a star at that with the 3-on-3 with his abilities.
And with the skills. I don't know if they're modifying the skills competition or anything like that, but he could have a lot of fun with
Elliot
that too.
Friedman hinted that they might have a women's team in the 3-on-3, which I think would be phenomenal.
That'd be cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, if he hinted at it, he must know.
yeah.
You know, like it's one of those Bob McKenzie thing. Wouldn't be surprised if.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's like the biggest blockbuster of the year happens 5 minutes later.
Fair.
Yeah, after that tweet. But so if let's say you're Mitch Marner and you have the Leafs 5-day break right before the All-Star break. So you got like 9 days off in a row.
Yep.
And then you get voted into the All-Star as a last man.
I think
Are you pumped personally?
if I'm Marner,
Yeah.
100%.
You think?
He is a guy that loves that type of attention. I think it's like you can tell like he does well in the spotlight. I think he'll really like this. Like this will be something where he wants to be known as an all-star. He wants to be known as one of the best players in the league. Because it's came up a little bit through the whole contract thing of him feeling disrespected and his entire life and this or that. And I think for him, I think he'll soak it up.
Now he's an NHL all-star.
Correct. And I think I think he'll go in and he'll be, and because he's a great guy too, like he's like smiling, like he'll eat it up.
So he can still get 6 days in Turks and then go to the All-Star game.
Oh yeah.
Where's his game? Chicago?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. I knew it was a Midwestern team like that.
I'm sure he'll go somewhere afterwards.
And then we got Matthews too, right?
Yeah, he's made the All-Star game every year.
Yeah, every year.
He's pretty good.
Freddie?
I kind of wish Freddie didn't make it.
I want I would like them to just kind of like fake a little injury on Freddie.
Ovechkin it?
Have that 1 game suspension, let Hutch play it, and then give him the time off. Like, and especially when they have fucking breakaway competitions and stuff like that. Like that's the goalies must hate that.
Yeah, but he's not really trying though.
No, but even not trying, you could just like tweak something. And I don't think I haven't seen it happen.
I get it.
Yeah. So I put out for on social media for some questions today.
Okay.
Do we want to
get any?
Do we want to get to those?
Sure.
Yeah, I got a few. Yeah, I'm not prepared though, so let me get prepared here. Had some good questions actually. I knew we weren't going to mention it, but we did sit here and watch. We both watched a bit of that Florida game and some NFL football, but that's I'm surprised. What I'm surprised about, like, that game sucked, but their next game's in Jersey, not Tampa.
I know.
I didn't look ahead on the schedule. I was just assumed they were going to play Tampa.
Thought for sure it'd be Tampa with his notch jersey.
Yeah. I put out a poll. Who do the Leafs miss more, Muzzy or Soupy? Came through 60% Muzzin.
I voted Muzzin.
Yeah, I would say Muzzin.
Because they were so deep on forward, it's just like,
Yeah. From Charles Riles, the Leafs should try get Georgiev as the backup goalie. What do you think?
I thought about that, like a Bracco for Georgiev. I think it's like Freeman said that they're looking for like a player of the same age at forward who could play, and like, well, Bracco.
Bracco's not a proven NHL player, though. I think you'd have to maybe go a little higher up your depth chart to do that.
Like a Moore.
Why do they want to trade him?
Because they have this stud AHL goalie that's come up, then they have Lundqvist under contract.
They can't do anything with him. I mean, I would go for it because looks like his trajectory is such that like he may end up being a number 1
potentially,
and that could be like your Freddie solution in 2 years.
Yep.
If you don't want to go throw a bunch of money at a 32-year-old goalie like Montreal or Florida. So, Not Leafs related from Horseshoe 47. Not Leafs related, but curious of your opinion. Is Port Alberni actually as bad as people think, or is it maybe a little underrated?
It's okay.
I'm fine with Port Alberni.
I went houseboating there this past summer.
Yeah,
Great time.
a lot of hockey games with my kids back in the day,
It's
and
a beautiful spot.
it's a great spot.
2 hours from Tofino.
It's close
Yeah,
to
2 hours from Tofino.
The industry's been hit hard there, but
Yeah,
it's a really cool spot.
Alan, thanks for the question, and we're going underrated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't retire there. Like, I want to be closer to airports and stuff like that. Maybe the ferry, but
Well, it's
yeah.
only 45 minutes from the Nanaimo.
That's true. All right. We're relocating the podcast to Port Alberni. From Mike Awesome, who's a two-time guest on the podcast from the Regal Beagle and Kits. Can this Keefe/Dubas style of hockey work in the playoffs if it's executed as well as it has been recently? Last 2 games excluded. 3 games, we'll put that now.
Well,
But
they won an AHL championship, so clearly it's worked at the pro level.
Yep.
And it's a wait and see.
there's definitely some keep the puck out of the net wrinkles that they have to iron out. And it might be personnel related as far as just the back end, like we already talked about. But yes, this style of play, like, I would not change a thing with our forward group. The improvement needs to come out of the back end. And it's probably some personnel moves that'll happen. And here's a really interesting question from Cole Hayes. Who will go down as the best Leaf of the 2020s?
Austin Matthews.
You think Austin Matthews will?
Oh, yeah.
Because we only think about it, though. We only have maybe 5 years with each of these guys left, and they all might walk. So there's still another half a decade to go.
Yeah.
So it's still Matthews?
Yes.
I'm saying
Well, I think he resigns, though.
Marner.
Not Tavares.
Or Nick Robertson.
Nick Roberts.
Or Rasmus and Jason Spezza from the Peanut Gallery. I love that. We got trolled on our questions on the Instagram. Like, I thought we'd get trolled on our Twitter questions. We totally got trolled on our Instagram questions. Both my sisters chimed in with questions on our Instagram
About baking?
questions. Yeah,
I saw that.
my sister in Saskatoon says, "Can I have your chocolate chip cookie recipe?" I'm like, we all have the same one. It was Mom's, right? So unless you've lost it, like, yeah, I can take a picture of it and send it to you. Like, let me know. And I got it upstairs, and it's a fucking wicked chocolate chip cookie recipe too. I'm gonna say that right now, right, Reg?
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. And this was a real mind bender from one of my other sisters. I have 3 of them. What fictional character scares you the most, and why?
Wow.
I know. I think we need some time to think on that one, and then get back to her on the next podcast.
That's a deep thinking
That's
one.
a really deep thinking
Yeah.
question. You really got to go like you could go like you could go anywhere from like superheroes, movies, characters, or like that fucking chicken on Family Guy that Peter Griffin
The
fights with.
chicken on
Like, I
Family
would
Guy.
fear that fictional character
That's
in
pretty
real
good.
life.
That's
right?
pretty good.
So like no, we're getting back to that question on the next podcast. Eliza Hyde, who I met in Toronto one time in the summer. Which Leafs player has impressed you or surprised you the most? Mikheyev?
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's
I would say almost like close second. Engvall's been a pretty good surprise.
No, I agree. Mikheyev, though, because like they're talking about this Russian, you kind of like, oh, it's gonna be like another Ozhiganov, but then
Yeah.
it was legit.
And then wouldn't be a mailbag without Pinchy. Old Pinchy 24. I wonder if is Pinchy Pinch Dangler, because he maybe dropped the dangler. He doesn't dangle anymore. Pinchy. Assuming health, what lines would you like to see the Leafs roll out once everyone's healthy?
Matthews, Marner, Hyman, Tavares, Nylander, Mikheyev, Kerfoot, Johansson, Kapanen,
Yeah.
Spezza, Moore, insert
Goat.
whoever. Engvall, probably. No, Engvall.
You didn't say Engvall in the top 9?
No, because you
No.
have Kerfoot and then Andreas Janssen and Kapanen.
I liked your top 6.
So you would put Johnson or Kapanen on the fourth line.
I think one of those guys are trade bait for a defenseman.
Fair.
I think that's how it's going down. But if you
Didn't say to a Sim Troll.
if that wasn't the case, yeah, I mean Kerfoot, Kapanen, and Johnson. I just don't think Johnson fits in the top 6 anymore. Now that Mikheyev is.
I think we gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
But Makhayev's out for the year though, so it's
Yeah.
out until the playoffs at minimum.
Reassessed in 3 months.
He's done. He's done for the year.
You think he's done for the year?
Like I remember, I was talking with my mom about that. Like he can't even. I was talking to you about that. Like he can't even move his hand. Like it's got to be still for months.
Yeah, like that. Like his contributions were so unexpected. Like he was found money. I tweeted out yesterday that the Marinson re-signing was basically a paid companion for Mikheyev, just having that Russian presence on the
funny.
team. That's it's quite possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that easy. You can move it up and down contract.
Yeah.
People aren't going to take it off waivers.
No. So I think that was all. Hope I didn't miss anybody's questions. But,
So, beer of the year.
beer of the year.
I kind of like. I kind of had 2. Like I was debating around 2 of them.
Yeah.
But my number 1, I'm going with the coffee lager from 4 Mile. And it was a close second was the Disruption IPA from Category 12.
Okay. So the 4 Mile coffee.
Yep. With the Disruption IPA from Category 12. A very, very close second.
Okay. And so that's 2 years in a row that one of us has picked a 4 Mile Brewery beer.
Wow.
I had the rice pudding porter.
That's a good beer.
Yeah.
Great beer.
Yeah, I had that in 2018. And so mine is kind of a bittersweet situation because mine is the Play Dead IPA from Yellow Dog. And in the first time we ever got a tall can from Wyatt, and that beer was the beer I brought over for Game 7 versus Boston. but it's so good, and it really got me hooked on the Yellow Dog Brewery, and we actually went and visited them when Reg and I went over for the Canuck game in December. We hung out there for a bit.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that was the best beer that I had this year, and so we'll post those on social media.
Very nice.
We'll announce it. We'll tag the breweries, and so you're back. You're back, baby. Are you back in long term here? Are you got any road trips, work trips going on?
I will be in Kelowna at the end of the month, but other than that, in Victoria for the next 2-3 weeks here.
Okay, so we can get a good podcast routine going here.
Well, it's weird though. There's a huge break coming up.
That's true. Oh, yes. And I actually accounted for that by, I was going to suggest maybe that's the time we could maybe go do some on location brewery stuff, or
Well, I would rather wait till I can drink.
Another Fifth Street. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. You're really, maybe we could do like a, maybe we could just like review some SodaStream flavors in the meantime or something like that. Do some sparkling water. Yeah, it's no, I admire your willpower. You know what? Honestly, this is the first beer I've had this year. Not because of any.
But you work a lot. Like you don't take like a big long break like most do. Like you're kind of like radiant. Like you work a lot over the Christmas break.
I do. Yeah, and I don't drink at home alone.
You are right now.
No, but I'm with you, and this is our podcast. But I don't drink. I don't crack a drink when I'm by myself.
That's a good habit to have.
Yeah, it's just kind of there. Yeah. Except last night I had a shot of ouzo.
By yourself?
Yeah, just because there was like only a little bit left in the bottle.
So you do drink alone?
Well, that was like on rare occasion. But I don't crack a beer because I really count calories, and so like there's like why would I have a beer by myself when it's like a 500 calorie craft beer?
They're not 500 calories.
Yeah, you know what? There's a reason why craft beers don't have to disclose their calorie count. It would crush the industry. They probably lobby hard not to have that happen.
Probably.
No, there's a like if a typical light beer is like, you have your Molson 67s, but if they're like 100, 110, I bet you this tall can of IPA is probably a good 260, 270.
Yeah, but not 500.
No, I bet you some of those double ones are they're like the stouts.
Those are like meals.
They
though,
pack
too.
a punch,
But
right?
No, I agree though.
Yeah. So we have the schedule coming up here. New Jersey Wednesday.
Yep. Oh, that's New Jersey Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Let's see. It's good podcasting. Tuesday Jersey, Thursday Calgary, Saturday Chicago. All home games.
You need 3 W's. We need to start. We got to get on a roll now.
Got to get on a roll. We got one of the last possible 6 points we've captured. So
Not good.
no, that's not good. That's not going to get it done. Although everyone else in this division
But
below them is
we
just
did go
shitting the
like
bed.
9-0-1 though.
Yeah, so it's all averages out. But yeah, so we'll be back at her, I don't know, about a week.
Yeah.
Maybe the
See what
Chicago game.
happens. Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'm gonna give the beer a solid 2, a solid Hyman. And I'll share this with you off the air, but I am working on a new beer rating system. I'm just not happy with this one.
Why?
I don't know.
Crushability?
I think it's still crushability, but just the references.
Okay.
And I think we need to add a fourth, because like, see, if 1 is shitty and 3 is really good, there's only 1 in between phase. I think we need 2 in between there phases.
We've had very few like Austin Matthews game 1 against Ottawa.
Yeah.
Like there's been very like home run type beers.
Yeah, that's why I think we need, because we've had a lot of Hymans, but there's a lot of range in that Hyman. Like we've even said like Hyman plus or Hyman minus, and so like I want to have an actual reference for that.
Sounds good.
Because like, you know what, like we laid it down, and if it's not working, I don't want to like Babcock it and just stick with it forever, right? Like, got to change it on the fly. Yeah. All right. So that's it. Go Leafs go.